To order the regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission for Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 6:04 p.m. Luis, if you could give us a roll call, please.
Absolutely. Commissioner Firestone?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Commissioner Intner?
Here.
And Commissioner Ruff?
Here.
Perfect.
Okay. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance. Yep, we have the image of the flag. If everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. And item 3 is public comments.
So as of this time, we have not received any public comments.
All right. The police report, item 4.
Okay. So item 4 is going to be the police report. So for the police report for the month of October, we'll go ahead and begin with the skate park. So we had 6 calls for service, 0 arrests, and as far as extra patrols, there was none recorded, but again, as a reminder, at times extra patrols are not logged. Deputies may be in the area conducting a report. However, if there's no need for service, then that report may not be logged there. In regards to Libby Park, there was a total of 4 calls for service, 11 extra patrols, 0 citations. For Zero Zodi Park, there was a total of 7 calls for service, 9 extra patrols, and 1 citation issued there. For the other campuses, including City Hall, Cliff Vista Park, Rotary Park, and Daly Ranch Park, there was unable to locate any calls for service in those areas for the month of October. In addition to that, we actually are also joined by Sergeant Cadman of the Ventura Sheriff's Office for this meeting. Welcome, Sergeant Cadman.
Hi, how are you all? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
In addition to the report, is there anything else that you'd like to add, Sergeant Cadman?
Just that we got the typical calls for service and activity at the parks. I did note that in the month of October, there was 1 arrest, and that was out of Libby Park for a warrant. And other than that, it was, so to speak, business as usual. And it seems that it was just an average month with a minimal call volume.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions?
Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, I'd like to ask one question. So you said October was like a typical month, and I know in September and October, there's been more outdoor activities and events in the city of Ojai. In your experience and with the last couple of months, do those kinds of events have any impact on the sort of calls that you get in the parks, or the sort of activities that you see going on? In other words, does it make much difference when there's an influx of people into the city?
Yes, ma'am. At times, we'll have a higher volume of traffic-related calls, depending on the nature of the event. At times, vehicles will create more traffic on Ojai Avenue, and deputies will have more interactions with people coming into the city. At times, we do have noise disturbance calls generated out of the parks themselves, depending on the nature of the event that's taking place. For instance, in October, we did Ojai Day, and a few of the citizens that were enjoying the activity in the event actually came up to the booth that the sheriff's office had and asked us to contact an individual that was creating a disturbance in the park. Fortunately, there was a higher volume of deputies that day in the park, and we were able to go make contact with the individual. There was no criminal matter or criminal issue. It was more of a disturbing the peace, and we were able to talk to that person and pretty much stop the event from becoming an issue. And everyone seemed to have a great day and enjoy the event.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and joining us via Zoom. We really appreciate it. And any other questions before I leave? It looks like we're good.
Just that. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. On to item number 5, which is the Public Works Report.
Absolutely. So for the Public Works Report this month, so we noted recent events at Libby Park, which includes the Sterling Concerts, as well as the Topa Mountain Music Festival, and the free concert by Ojai Pop's Orchestra. In addition to that, we also noted Ojai Day, as well as the painting of the mandala. And we'll have a little bit more information in reference to that on the Recreation Report. There was vandalism, minor vandalism reported at Livable, about $100 in damage. And then the bigger note out of everything is that we received an update from the state of California in regards to the Prop 68 grant, and we have been approved for it. So now it's just waiting on those funds. Other than that, that's it for the Public Works Report.
Okay. Do we have any more details on some of the clarifying questions we had about the sports courts project?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't recall those questions right offhand. Would you mind reminding me of specific questions regarding those courts?
I think just to make sure that we're clarifying the budget for the lights and what was included, and we were just double checking all of that. Any other commissioners have anything they remember that we had asked for?
I think just kind of like the final or wherever kind of the details are, like fencing, I think we've talked about, but I don't know if we ever landed on exactly what the fencing is going to be. The same thing with the lights. I don't know about any other details that seem kind of outstanding.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I know that the lights, in reference to the lights, I don't recall exactly what specific type of lighting was going to go in, but I know that the most recent update in reference to the cost of the project does include the lights in there. As far as the fencing, if memory serves me right, and I will go ahead and get this clarity, but we're talking about a 10-foot fence in certain parts and then 15-foot fence on the side of the softball courts, and that was going to be chain link fence, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I very well could be wrong, and I can look further into that, but that's what my understanding is.
Maybe what we should do is specifically call this out as a discussion item, as a future agenda item for next month, so that we can go back over all the details. Now, knowing also that the funding, do we have an idea when the Prop 68 grant money will arrive?
Unfortunately, I don't, not at this time.
Okay.
I do anticipate for the next meeting to have that information right offhand.
Got it. All right. Any other Public Works Report questions from the Commission? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to our City Council Liaison Report. Is Councilmember Haney with us?
Not this time around.
Okay. So moving on to item 7, our consent items. The only item on our consent items are the minutes for our previous meeting. So if anyone has, if everyone's reviewed them and has any comments, corrections, or a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the minutes as posted.
And I'll second.
Thank you. And then, Luis, will you do a vote, please?
Of course. Commissioner Intner?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
And Commissioner Firestone?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're on to item 8, which are presentations, action, and discussion items. Before we go through this, I just want to note that item C We're going to move that to a future agenda. So item C will move to our future agenda items in possibly December. Okay, so item A, subject joint meeting with City Council. Recommendation the commission consider items they wish to discuss with council during the joint meeting and provide feedback on the draft PowerPoint presentation to staff. Luis, before we start, do we want to talk about when possibly and what the options are?
Yeah, absolutely. So the joint meeting was initially scheduled to go ahead and take place this month. As I shared in a meeting with the commission, council recently moved their start times of the regular meeting due to cold weather months up to 6 o'clock. So at a staff level, we are working with council to determine when would be best to go ahead and have a joint meeting with council and the commission. Right now, we are looking at possibly January. Once that date has been established, I'll make sure to go ahead and share that with the commission as well. And that also includes the start time. Traditionally, start time for joint meetings would be at 6 o'clock, but again, since the council now starts their meeting at 6 o'clock, we may be looking at a different time there.
So we would be looking at 5 o'clock?
Possibly, yes. Once I get further details on that, I'll make sure to go ahead and share that with the commission.
Okay. Is there, I know there are discussions of possible different formats, but we're not there yet? We should count at this point? Okay.
That is correct, yeah.
All right, so that being said, I guess we're shooting for January.
Mm-hmm. Correct, that's correct. The tentative time at this moment, it would be January 2022.
So possibly 5 o'clock on January, we'll see, okay. All right. So going forward, Luis, it sounds like maybe you and Karen will jointly present the work that's been done?
Yes. So what I'd like to go ahead and do, if I may, is I'll go ahead and share my screen here with the updated PowerPoint presentation, which includes the edits made from the last commission as recommended. So let me go ahead and pull that up here, if I may. And once we have this up here, can everybody see my screen here? Okay, perfect. So if it's okay, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go through slide by slide like we did at the last time, and then we can go ahead and share the edits that have been made. So we'll go ahead and begin with the first page here. As noted, we have changed the date to January 2022. Again, once that date has been established, I'll make sure to share with the commission and update the PowerPoint presentation. In reference to slide number 2, we took the recommendations that were made at the last meeting and implemented them here. Commissioner Wilson, please correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the thoughts is to keep the PowerPoint presentation not brief. Brief's not the word that I'm looking for here, but have it streamlined and have notes at the bottom for the presenters to go ahead and share. Is that correct?
That's correct. The idea is that the visuals, the PowerPoint would actually sort of be highlight bullets, not a lot of dense information, and the details could be part of the presentation, the oral presentation. So, and one general recommendation for all PowerPoints, all presentations, is to have a sort of roadmap at the beginning. So that's what this slide is just to say, this is over the overview. These are the, things that we're going to touch on in this, both as part of the presentation and then as part of the discussion with the City Council.
Thank you for sharing. So then we go into this here is going to be slide number 2. Slide number 3 is going to go ahead and include introductions of current commissioners as well as staff. And then number 4, this is going to be recreating through COVID. It's going to be the timeline here as we discussed last time around. I'm going to be talking about the key points through the COVID pandemic and how the Recreation Department adapted. following that is going to be the participation numbers. So this one here, as indicated during the last meeting, we took out the verbiage and left the graph in there. The next slide is going to be talking about the Centennial Celebration, which was held at Zero Zodi Park. Again, below leaving notes for the presenter to go ahead and share information about the event. The next slide is going to be highlighting Ojai Day, which again is going to be same concept as the slide before, having graphics with notes at the bottom for the presenters.
And so, Luis, if I could just interject here, you can go to the next slide.
Sure.
So that first 7 slides are the ones that were revised based on some of the notes, and there's more revision to come, but kind of following the same principles, trying to minimize or highlight the important text or the important visuals, and have more details in the presentation or even offered as part of any kind of Q&A that might happen. So to kind of keep the visuals from being too busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would appreciate any feedback about which of these, going forward, which of these slides either it seems it's really critical that the information be conveyed, or there may be a better way to convey the information, because there is a lot of details going forward here.
Yeah. So we get into the current offerings, and then we begin with gymnastics, and as discussed, we have information about the classes, the participation numbers. In addition to that, we have tennis. And we combined the 2 slides as discussed from the last meeting. We also have the dog obedience, adult and senior strength, youth theater, youth soccer, and then we have commissioner updates. And then as we get to this slide here, Commissioner Wilson, between those slides that we just went through, 7 through 14, is that what you're hoping to get feedback on, or throughout the rest of the presentation as well?
Well, those 7 through 14, I'd like some feedback about that. Generally speaking, those might lend themselves to just editing the text a little bit, because they do have some nice visuals, but what text might be most important, or if there's some additional text, something, other information that that might be important for the council to receive.
And if commissioners are interested in seeing any particular slides, I'm happy to go to any particular one.
Can we start back at the beginning of that section?
Sure. So we begin with current program offerings.
Right, that looks good. Thanks.
Okay. Gymnastics.
I think that's fine. I think that the bottom 2 bullets are the key ones. There's a lot of people doing it, and we offer it both indoors and outdoors. So it's very accommodating.
So maybe put those at the top and the other 2 at the bottom.
Yeah.
No. Either way, I'm fine.
Okay. I can go ahead and make that note. Okay. Tennis program.
I think the welcome, I think we could take that out, but because she won't be there. But we could just say that she's the new instructor. It's up to people, however they want to do it. But
yeah, sounds fine.
Any additional changes for this one?
If we wanted fewer words, we could say quick start came back August 13, 21. But I guess you want to let them know, because some people didn't know what it was to begin with. So that's fine.
Well, we could go either way. The fact that we already had the timeline and sort of, established that things really got underway again, in August, I don't know that we necessarily need to call it out for a specific program.
Right.
Yeah.
So we might be able, it seems to me like the last three bullets are kind of the key point about the tennis program.
Yes. The
Yeah,
only
that makes sense.
might be useful to specify the ages that they do quick start, because that might be informative.
Okay, we can also put that in the presentation.
True, that's right. As a note, that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, because it does say youth and adults, so
Yeah.
that's the general idea.
And we have a picture of cute little kids there, so yes.
Okay.
Okay, the next slide is the dog obedience slide.
I think it looks good.
Okay. The next one is going to be adult and senior strength.
Also looks good.
I don't know that we need like the Monday, Wednesday, 10 to 11. I'm just saying classes offered twice a week seems sufficient.
Yeah,
Shall we do away with it?
yeah, I would agree with that.
You keep the first half of it. The classes
twice a
offered
week?
twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
there you go.
Okay. Next is going to be youth theater.
We might be able to do something different with that new offering bullet. I mean, that could be maybe a highlight in the title or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good.
I'm sorry?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Just what do you think about smaller text? That particular portion, do something like that, or have it the same?
I was actually thinking of trying to do something a little graphic with it.
Okay, a little bit more graphic. Okay, then, yeah,
so
we can go ahead and hold off.
I'll have to think about it just a little bit.
Okay,
but-
all right, we'll go ahead and hold off on that for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the thing you're going for, but if you italicize it, it might add some like dimension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
And again, that's, the fact that it's a new program is something that can be mentioned in the oral presentation.
Okay.
Okay.
Next will be youth soccer.
And I would move the last bullet into the oral presentation.
That sounds good. Into the notes. Yeah.
I think I'd say something to probably include in a bullet here is that this is not like the soccer league. This is a soccer class.
Okay. Would classes 3 to 11, would that not cover it? Should we make it more distinct?
It does, but somehow like emphasize that it's a class. I don't know how to do that, but.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely go ahead and toy around with that once Commissioner Wilson and I get together. Okay.
You could call it a session instead of a class.
I didn't catch all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Rupp, I don't think we caught that. Would you mind repeating, please?
Oh, I was thinking you called it a session instead of a class. Most people relate session with like not a league.
Okay, so use the word session. Okay. Okay. And then moving on to the next slide is a commissioner update.
So I actually thought that having introductions at the beginning would make everybody familiar with who's in the room.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of this. If we introduce the current commission and the current staff, I'm not sure what purpose this slide serves.
Could we move this information up to that front slide?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I was thinking is we could take, if we want to go ahead and do away with the slide but keep the information, is we can take this information, put it in the notes section of that slide up there, and then just do away with the.
Well, and actually, slide 3, slide 3 is, there's really very little on it. It wouldn't be bad to.
Oh, slide 3 is incomplete. I actually
Okay.
intended to put the names of the commissioners, if it works. Maybe have columns. I haven't. I have to play around with, the spacing.
But maybe we could merge those together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could definitely go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think we just need one of those two slides, and it makes sense when we're doing the introduction to have them.
Okay.
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 On the farewells, it's been a couple years since we've had a meeting, right, with the city council. So there's a few other commissioners that we might add to that list.
Okay. And can we put those in the notes in the oral presentation? The other commissioners, the farewells?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, in this case, it might be easier to have it on the slide because then you don't have to say it. Whereas if it's in the notes, you've got to read everyone's name, But either way.
Because slide 15 and 16 will become slide 3.
Yeah.
Correct.
Basically, that's the idea, to try to either have it be all on slide 3, or we have to have slide 3 and 4, but we now replace these slides, these two slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Cool. All right, moving on to the next slide, slide 17. We have the CIP. The CIP, there is some updates that need to be done on this document, so I'll make sure to go ahead and get that. One of them that I can recall right offhand was the Turf Hill. We wanted to go ahead and note that was complete, so we'll make sure to have that done there as well.
So whatever the colors are, we need a key.
Okay.
Or
That's a good point. Okay.
And so would the color key you would want to emphasize the done, the in process, what do you want to emphasize on this slide?
I'm not sure what purple is. Okay, for 21-22, I think we have 10,000 allocated for shade, but we haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess on that, but I'm not sure what that means. So, yeah, I think yes, projects that are done should have a color. Projects that are started, because we have a column, we have a done column. But so, do we want to do it just that way, or do we want to do it by color? We also have A, C, B, that kind of stuff, and I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, so those are the priorities, but I think that in this sense, having a color key may make it easier. I think if we add another column, it may add some confusion, because then folks are going to have to go ahead and refer to that additional column. But a color key, if we had that right off to the side, then they can easily pick up, okay, purple means that this is going to be the next project that we focus on. Teal is going to be a project that has been complete. So that's, yeah.
We could, excuse me, I just looked at that priority column. If it's done, it probably shouldn't be in that priority column at all. There shouldn't be anything there. And we could use color to just highlight what's done.
Yeah, I think that's Luis, that's what you're proposing, right? Is to basically get rid of the priority column at this point.
Correct.
And then color code.
Yep.
And use that as a way to show the priorities, as well as whether it's completed or under construction, or what the status is.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Does that sound right? I'm just clarifying. I want to make sure that's
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that one, data-wise, we need to work on it a little bit, what's in it, and we're going to color code it, but the page where it is and everything else looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The next slide is going to be the Sierra master plan and overview of the project.
Okay, good.
And that's going to go along with slide number 19 as well. And then slide number 20, we had information about the courts with the breakdown, CIP allocation. And then we're going to get rid of this. If memory serves me correct, we're going to get rid of the commissioner recommendations because those commissioners already had made those recommendations to council. Is that correct?
Yeah.
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 Okay. And then the last slide is going to be the CIP and the Zero Zodi master plan.
Also on the sport courts recent activity, I think we need to go back through and make sure that verify that all of this information is correct. Because there's a couple of things I have some questions on. So just confirm again that those numbers are right.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and do that.
Okay. And then discussion items, that looks right.
And other than that, that's the last slide there. So if we were to go ahead and merge some slides as discussed, we'd be bringing the presentation down to about like 18 slides or so.
Okay.
And just based on some of the information I removed from some of the first slides and general experience, it probably would average someplace between 1 minute to 3 minutes per slide. So if we bring it down to 18, we're right up to, we are possibly exceeding 20 minutes. And I think we want to try to, and that's just going through the slides. That's not allowing time for questions or whatever. So again, we might just, we'll bring it down and we'll see where we're at and see, because I think, or at least what my notes said from the last meeting is we want to allow enough time to talk about the capital improvements, and I guess that includes the master plan, and then going forward, priorities and so forth, to get some, at least, if not consensus, at least some things on the table, right?
Right.
And so I don't know, is it about an hour that's usually allocated for this?
We've historically had an hour, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
so 20 minutes to sort of get things where we are, retrospective and where we are, and then the remaining time to talk about those two bigger, talk in more detail about those two topics. So that's the goal anyway, based on what we talked about before.
Yeah, and historically it's actually a little less than an hour by the time everyone gets settled, and then they have to rearrange the room before the council meeting. So it is very rushed, so I think it's great if we have a shorter slide portion and more time for discussion. That's nice.
Okay, well,
I agree.
I'll work with Luis and we'll do our best.
I really appreciate the work you guys have done. I think the notes are great. So anywhere you can leave notes in there, because I'm not sure who will be presenting. Right. That would be great to have as much information available to the presenter as possible, depending on how we end up doing that.
Well, I'm not getting rid of none of the information from the original draft is gone. It's all down in the notes. So, and then if we need to add more, we can add more, but it's all there.
Okay. And since we think we're shooting for January, let's bring it back in December as a future agenda item to have last looks, discussions. Hopefully we'll all be here and then we can see where we are. So thank you both for all the hard work on this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So we're on to 8B, which is the 2022 Livable fee waivers. And I think, Luce, you're going to give us an introduction and
absolutely.
Let us know what we're up to.
Yeah. So the Livable Fee Waiver Program is an annual program which waives fees in full or part fees charged by the city for usage of the Livable. The primary purpose of the program is to assist individuals, commercial entities, and nonprofit organizations that are producing arts, cultural, and community events in the Livable for the benefit of a nonprofit organization and or the Ojai community. This year, we received a total of 7 applications, and in your packet, you'll have those applications in the staff report. It's a breakdown of those applications that were received. with their waiver amount. So we received applications for the Film Festival, Independence Day Committee, Ojai Maestro / Nordhoff High School Music Department, the Ojai Memorial Day Remembrance, Music for Kids, Ojai Storytelling Festival. 7. Yep, and that's the 7 there. And again, on the staff report, it indicates how much each particular organization is going to be requesting there as far as waived fees.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
I don't mean to be a pain about this, but whenever there's new stuff like this, I'm really in the dark. So I've got a number of questions about this program, and I deliberately don't want to talk about any specific applications about things, but I going through them, I have a lot of questions and concerns. So
Do you have some general questions you want answered up front? Because historically what we have done is gone through item by item, application by application is how we've reviewed them as a commission based on the goals that were set out in the application and the larger fee waiver program that I don't know that we have in front of us. But so if you have general questions, why don't we start with those, and then maybe we'll move on to talking about each of the applications.
Okay.
And Ella, feel free to ask questions if you have them too.
Yeah, so I guess I do have some general questions. One, I'm wondering just about the standards for receiving the applications. As a former grant applier and maker, there's a lot of missing information. So I don't know if that's just, the informality of this is par for the course, but I was a little bit concerned about that. I wonder about the process for soliciting applications, because it does seem to favor people that institutions, organizations that have received grants in the past. And one of the things I was struck by some of the applications is their rationale was, we've gotten this waiver before, so we should get it again. That's a little disturbing to me, just in the sense of, is this really a program available to a wider group of organizations? And I guess my big general question is, I didn't see any follow-up, so I'm curious about that. If they're supposed to make a report after their event, and I would assume that that's where they would demonstrate that they've credited the city of Ojai and report on the outcome of their event. I think if in the future, that might be something for any organizations that's received a grant in the past. If they're going to apply again, we should see that report. And I'm just wondering, given the, again, I apologize if I'm being too critical here, but it seems like a lot of work for a lot of people, that maybe there's a way to streamline it if in fact it's a bit more narrow of a program, that it's essentially going to more or less the same groups every year. I just wonder if there's not a more efficient way to do that.
Okay, all very good points. I will start off with a little bit of history on the program and when it came into play. Livable was, and I won't have all the dates on this, so forgive me. Livable was redesigned and rebuilt. Anybody, Ryan, do you remember how many years ago that was? Okay, a while ago.
It was in the 2000s. It was in the 2000s. I've just been reading that.
Yeah, and at that time, the bowl had been used by a lot of these community events for years and years. And one of the concerns was of the commission at the time was that we wanted to make sure that those groups that had historically used it had an avenue to make sure that they would still have access. and that we made sure that we kept alive some of these very important community events. That was kind of the beginning of the program. It is not limited to that, but that, just to understand the history of where it started, was that we wanted to not lose anything by modernizing the bowl and we wanted to make sure that there was space left, and that we made sure that it was affordable, so that we didn't lose some of those wonderful things that really served the community so well and have been going on for a really long time. So I think in that is some of probably where you're seeing some of that, assumption that it will happen again in the applications. I think that's probably where it comes from, because at that time too, and I don't know that we're not holding to that, but they established a list of kind of which were the things that have been going on for years when the bowl had been redone and rebuilt and all of that. So this is kind of where it all comes from. I definitely think there's probably room for improvement on the process, and we can have that discussion, I think, as a commission. And if we have feelings about how we could improve it, we were participated in the beginning of developing this, and so I think there's room again to improve it. So totally open to that kind of feedback and how to make it better. The missing information.
I was going to suggest, sorry to interrupt, but I was going to suggest that we put that on a future agenda item, is kind of reviewing and maybe retooling this process.
Yeah, correct. That would be the best process there. In addition to that, one of the things I would like to go ahead and add is, as far as publicity for the program, sharing with the past recipients is one aspect of it. The other aspects are sharing information on the city's website, as well as a social media page. Social media page, we actually share it with a couple different community groups. So we try to target a wide range of a wide audience rather than just a specific group. So those are the different steps that we've done to go ahead and advertise the program.
I will share, though, that has been an ongoing concern of the commission over years, is how early are we reaching and how are we trying to broaden our reach. So that is something that's come up multiple times, which is not a criticism of our process, but a place maybe to look on a future agenda item to see how we might improve that.
Right. Well, I thank you very much for that history, because that history puts everything in context, and it makes perfect sense. I just, that wasn't explicit in any of the things, any of the information I had. And yes, I would appreciate that we put this on, a future agenda in time before the next process, so we can look at some outreach, different outreach strategies or different process strategies or whatever, because I totally agree that the rationale for this program is a good one, and it needs to be continued. It just probably is time to say, is there a little better way we can do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
absolutely open to that. Yes.
I'd say from my perspective, some of these applications seem a little lacking. But, if you look at what these organizations are, they're mostly like all volunteer, putting on free events for the community. So, I think it's okay to have kind of a low bar in some aspects of the process, as long as we know kind of enough to get by.
I think what we've always been trying to balance is not to overburden some of these very small organizations with no staff, but also be diligent in reviewing and making sure that it makes sense. And I think, Karen, I think your experience that you bring to this might be very helpful. So I look forward to that discussion in the future. I would also say that one of the other concerns, once the bowl became the world-class venue that it is now, part of it was that the fees were too much for certain organizations doing the free events. There's just no way they could afford to bring in the equipment and do all of these things, as well as pay the city fees. So that's one of the things that I always keep at the forefront of my mind, as well as it's in here, is what they're bringing. And, a lot of them, if you review them, they're running on a shoestring. So yeah, that was the intent, is to bring a lot of local community events. They don't have to be local, but those that, are free and give a lot back to the community and provide, that kind of value to it. So if you guys are comfortable, do you want to just go through them in the order that they're on in our staff report?
Yeah.
Fine.
So let's start with the Ojai Rotary West Free Community Concerts. There'll be 7 in total. History on this is they, up until now, have always done them at the, is that the gazebo pergola? I'm not sure what we call that. In Libby Park, and they moved this time into the Libby Bowl, and it was a wonderful experience. So they are looking to continue on in the bowl. Any comments on this particular application?
So I guess this brings up a question for me, and I don't remember where we landed on this before, but Luis, and maybe a question for Luis, do we need to be concerned about like how many events this is or scheduling, or is that stuff that you worry about on
Yeah,
your end?
that's something that we go ahead and take care on the back end. As far as the number of events, I know for this particular organization, this is generally in line with what they do. But as far as like the dates and scheduling, yeah, that's something I would go ahead and take care on the back end there.
Okay, all right.
So this is their standard concert series that they've been doing for years. So
I can add that I really enjoyed the one concert I got to go to this summer in the bowl, and given all of our concerns, and also just it is such a great venue, and this local orchestra is, it's really nice that they get to play at such a great venue. So I certainly appreciate the value of this one.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly am in favor of this one. Do you want to talk about them all first, or each one decide whether we think that it meets the criteria and is accomplishing the goals of the program?
I think it would be appropriate to go one by one.
Okay.
So this one in particular, if the commission agrees, it sounds like the commission is in agreement that this one should be funded. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the next on our list is the Ojai Film Festival free screening of a movie, and the waiver request amount is $700. And I can read this I'll read it out. The Ojai Film Festival has hosted a free movie screening on the Wednesday evening preceding the start of the festival. The goal of the program is to provide entertainment to residents for the Ojai Valley free of charge. So this is another lovely event that is open to the whole community. So any questions or comments on this particular application?
No.
Okay, so everybody is in favor of granting this waiver?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Ojai Independence Day Committee, free community concert. The waiver request is $700. The Independence Day Committee has provided free patriotic community concerts for several years. Prior to the Libby Bowl remodel, fees for the Independence Day Committee's use of the facility were waived. That's all true. Another free event for the whole community. Questions or comments? Okay, none being heard. How do people, all in favor of that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, okay. Ojai Maestro, Nordhoff High School Music Department free community concert. Waiver request for the amount of $600 plus facility fee, $3 per ticket. Luis, I'm going to ask you this question. If it's a free concert, they're not assessing the $3 per ticket fee. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I think in this particular sense, and I think that what they were trying to go ahead and indicate would be the $700, which is the fee for nonprofits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd be granting, there would be no fees. They'd be granted whatever that was for no fees. Okay, just wanted to be clear on that. Okay. The Ojai Maestro Nordhoff High School Music Department is a public school program. The award-winning comprehensive music program is home to talented students that love to perform. The groups annually perform for numerous community events and participate in regional and national festivals. The goal of the program is to provide entertainment to the residents of the Ojai Valley free of charge. Now, these are wonderful. Ella, would you like to tell us a little bit about these? I think you may participate in them.
I am in band and chamber choir, so I do both. They're pretty fun for the students, I think, especially coming out of COVID. We're trying to get some more performances going because we missed like a whole year and a half of it. So there's, I think, some, I guess, a push to try to get out there a little bit more. But yeah.
Thank you.
I guess I have just one question about this one, if I'm recalling right. So, is and I'm all in favor. I was in band. I'm all in favor of public performances and spreading the word. But is there no other facility in the school district where concerts can be given, or is it just that this outdoor venue is of particular interest?
Well, I think it's the fact that it is outdoors, because I think there's still challenges on having things indoors. So this allows them to have the space to accommodate the concert.
I think also, though, there's not a facility that like another comparable facility where they could put on a performance like these.
Sounds like a good deal for everybody all the way around.
Okay, so we also all approve, it sounds like, of the Ojai Maestro Nordhoff High School Music Department application.
Yes.
Okay, on to Ojai Memorial Day Remembrance free community event. The Ojai Valley Veterans of Foreign Wars honors fallen veterans of U.S. military armed forces. The proposed event will host traditional and patriotic music from a local band, local speakers, and local singers. A temporary wall of remembrance will be exhibited the day of, displaying photographs and text honoring Ojai Valley veterans. This is a community event that supports education and the history of U.S. veterans. Also another ongoing event. Any questions, comments?
No.
Okay. I think we all approve of that one too.
Yes.
Okay, Music for Kids, Ojai Pops concert, free community concerts. In this one, they are looking for a waiver for 4 total concerts and 2 rehearsal dates. The waiver request is 100%. Music for Kids has teamed up with Scott Weiss of the Ojai Pops Orchestra to present a series of free community concerts in the Livable. The request is for the waiver of fees and the use of the bowl on 6 dates, 2 rehearsals, and 4 performances.
That was a typo. It should be 4 dates. 6 dates total. And 2 rehearsals, 4 performances.
Yes, I might have read it wrong. Sorry.
So I was just a little confused about this one.
Okay.
Is the nonprofit Music for Kids, or is the nonprofit Ojai Pops Orchestra?
He has partnered with a nonprofit that is Music for Kids,
okay.
And Ojai Pops Orchestra is an all-volunteer orchestra. They come from all over the county to play together in these concerts at the bowl for free. Okay. And because they don't all play together regularly and everyone comes and volunteers, that's the request for the 2 rehearsal days.
Okay, and since there's no actual money exchanging hands here, we don't really have to have the information about the Music for Kids nonprofit status. I don't think that was. I'm not sure that was included. I was a little confused.
Okay.
I was confused.
Yeah, I think. There is no money changing hands. That is a criteria, but and it's something we could request from them. They have provided it before, I think, in past years. But I'm inclined. It's a lovely event. It's free. It's lovely event. People come from all over the county to play together, which is it's really nice. Ryan, any comments?
No, it sounds great to me. Yeah.
I've been to. They're lovely. Yeah.
They're nice. It's hard to say no to free, right? When people are willing to put on performances for the community.
Exactly.
And everyone's welcome. That's great.
Yeah. Again, I think it's a great idea. I'm just concerned about that there's a consistency in the information that is submitted to the city. So if, I understand they have to sign an agreement of some kind. So, but if, just that one stuck out as what is the nonprofit? Because this is all being applied, essentially all these folks are applying under nonprofit status, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just about a consistency in in the applications. That's
well, I'm happy to if we would like. Yeah, what they provide is a balance sheet.
Mm-hmm. Well, more than just. I was more concerned about the actual confirmation of a nonprofit status.
Exactly, because the only thing provided is the balance sheet. I agree. That's all that's in the application.
Right.
I was just reviewing it. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
No, sorry. I just was going through it. Well, I'm happy to put a caveat on there if you'd like that we approve it with the submission of their 501c3 status.
Yeah, and then I'm happy to go ahead and reach out to them. One of the things I additionally do here at the city is Arts Commission Liaison. They too have a grant program, and sometimes we have to go ahead and reach back out to applicants to go ahead and request any missing items. So I have absolutely no problem doing that with this particular organization.
Brian?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, I think that's great for kind of the record keeping, but even if they're not a nonprofit, they'd be asking for a bigger waiver, but it's basically the same effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They don't pay anything to the city. They put on a free show. So
It's just my overly developed sense of fairness to all the other applicants who did submit the information. That's all.
I respect that.
And I'm fine with just Luis. You'll just know to follow up on that and ask them to provide it, and then. But as a group, we agree that this makes sense and is in alignment with the fee waiver guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll be happy to go ahead and do that. And if actually it dawned on me, there's also the IRS has a website where you can go ahead and check nonprofit statuses. So that's the easiest thing to go ahead and do. So I can do that first thing tomorrow morning.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, then we are on to our last one here, which is the Ojai Storytelling Festival community event, which is requesting a waiver request of $1,200. For the last 20 years, the Ojai Storytelling Festival has offered programs for students, family, and adults featuring some of the brightest stars in storytelling. The Ojai Storytelling Festival gives people a chance to learn about other cultures, offers family experiences they can enjoy together, and elevates the art form of storytelling. Any comments right off the bat there?
I have more comments more generally about this application, but not on that specifically.
I had a question about this because at least in their narrative, they wanted the waiver for a fundraising event. It said fundraising in their narrative, but then so much of the rest of the information was about the whole storytelling festival. So, it makes a difference if it's a fundraising event versus, an event under a broader, the broader festival.
I was a little confused about that too. The other thing is that they said there was an attachment that, because they're asked to provide information about their ticket prices.
Yes.
And that wasn't in their application that I could find. And I don't know that they have any free events at this point. They, anything on offer that's free. And I think, and I just looked up some of the prices on the tickets, and I think it is a lovely festival that I haven't attended in the last few years. We actually had an online, so we could watch it online, but I'm concerned because the ticket prices are, if you do individual tickets, they're $25 to $35 per event. They didn't talk at all about it, and I know that on Thursdays they do the kids. They have kids come in from schools to do those events, and I think they even charge for those. I think it's a nominal. I don't think it's a high fee. But it feels like we're missing some information.
That's my concern too. I mean, from reading through everything in their application, it sounds like it sounds like they want to go back to having that children's performance for the local schools. And they said they try to have the tickets around $10.
$10, right.
But it wasn't clear, it's not like this is what we're going to charge. And this is what we're planning. And I think for me personally, if they were asking for the waiver for a day when they were going to hold this children's event and they committed to a price that the tickets were going to be under or what they were going to charge, I think that would be something to consider. But it just seems too vague the way it is.
Yeah, and they are
for
significantly
something that's
different
very expensive.
yeah.
I was looking at the ticket prices too, and it's like, that's not a family event when, a family of four is going to spend $150 to go to a show.
Yeah, I had the same concerns. I think it's an incredible event. It's wonderful. The people they bring in are wonderful, but it is significantly different than all of the other events that we grant to.
Right.
So what do we?
Yeah, I share all the concerns that you brought up, and I also share your opinion of the festival. I've enjoyed it a couple of times now, and it's a great event to have here, but it would be nice to have some clarity as to what exactly they're asking the waiver for.
Right.
Yeah.
And it looks like in 2019 we granted 1,300. In 2018 we granted 950. In 2017 we granted 2,500. I don't know if we want to ask for more information. We need to make a decision tonight, or if we need clarity on how they would use it, if it was used for the school performances. I think Ryan's suggestion is good. Do we turn it down blanket, across the board, or do we ask for more information and then decide based on what we get back? Those are questions for the commission.
I would prefer to get more information because it is a really nice event, and if it is something that kind of meets the criteria, then I'd like to encourage that.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the things that we can go ahead and do, if the commission is open to the ideas, we can go ahead and bring this particular one back at the December meeting, invite the applicant, and that way we can have them at that meeting. They can go ahead and answer any questions from the commission. That's an idea.
I'm open to that, but I'm almost happy just to have them clarify it in writing first. Okay. I think you've heard our concerns, and if you can communicate those back to them. Yep. Is that comfortable for you, Luis?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, and then if they can, help us understand which days have students, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would like the clarification in writing, and then if they would like to come to the December meeting, we can invite them. But I think, with our concerns conveyed, it would be a good exercise on their part to clarify exactly what they want or why they want the waiver. So, yeah.
Yes, because I think it's clear all of us very much appreciate the festival and really enjoy that they're here and appreciate all the value it brings. So it's more aligning with the goals and values of this. Okay.
Yeah. And I've been to the one for the local schools. It's quite a sight to see so many kids.
Isn't it amazing how many children they can get in the bowl?
Okay.
Okay, good. So that will come back to us. We've finished our business with that. Luis, do you have anything else you'd like from us?
Yes. So just for clarity, from my understanding, the commission would like to go ahead and approve the Ojai Rotary West, Ojai Film Festival, Ojai Independence Day Committee, the Ojai Maestro / Nordhoff High School, Ojai Memorial Day Remembrance, 100% there. And then as far as the music for kids, that's going to be pending their nonprofit status. And then the Ojai Storytelling Festival, that will be brought back at the next meeting. Did I get that correct?
Okay. Yes. And do you need a motion from us, or is the feedback?
I do. Yes.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve Bowl Full of Blue. No, sorry, I'm on the wrong list. So I'm like, wait a second, that's not it. I guess I'll read them all out. Ojai Rotary West application, Ojai Film Festival application, Ojai Independence Day Committee application, Ojai Maestro Nordhoff High School application, Ojai Memorial Day Remembrance application, and the Music for Kids Ojai Pops Orchestra application pending confirmation of their nonprofit status, and we are going to review additional information for the Ojai Storytelling Festival at our December meeting. That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, perfect. With that, we'll go ahead and do roll call. Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ittner,
Yes.
and Commissioner Firestone.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you've got what you need. Excellent. Okay, pull my agenda back out. 9, informational items.
Perfect.
And
with
so
that-
we're going to get our recreation report.
Yeah, so with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our newest staff member over at the Recreation Department. Weston will be sharing the Recreation Report update. Weston?
Hi, everyone. Weston Montgomery. I have for you the Recreation Department update, starting with our COVID update. No change from last report, but the COVID testing clinic is still heavily used 3 days a week. We continue to offer COVID testing at Sarzati Park Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Testing is available to the public, including those who have the slightest suspicion of having COVID-19 or have been exposed to someone with it. You do not need to have health insurance to get tested here. However, if you have health insurance, you'll be asked to share that information. Pre-registration is strongly recommended. Moving on, we had our Ojai Day since the last time you met. Ojai Day was a great success, not just in the opinion of our department, but as we heard from a lot of positive feedback from community members, vendors, and entertainers. And there was a lot of highlights, but the mandala was back with public participation, and the residents and kids painting around the Libby Fountain area was the gem of the day. Moving on to our outdoor rentals. Groups continue to take advantage of the reduced cost field use for user groups to hold their lessons and classes outside. We currently have 5 here at Sarzati Park and 1 at Daily Ranch. And those include 3 yoga, 1 taekwondo, and 1 creative movement. So the public is out there. Our regular field use rentals are consistent and full. And highlight is most weekends, all picnic areas here at Sarzati Park are all booked. Moving on to programming. I wanted to highlight our mission again. It's always a good time to look at our mission. And as a department, we are striving to meet it, which is to enhance the physical and mental well-being of Ojai citizens by creating and offering a wide variety of accessible activities. And to highlight some with big numbers, as you know from our presentation for the joint committee meeting, our gymnastics programming is now up to 155 total participants since we've reopened. And second in line is tennis participants, now at 76 total participants in our last numbers. All other recreational programming offerings are consistent, and their enrollment is steadily rising since June. We are happy to see that. And one big highlight here at the Boyd Center, social skills, our program geared primarily towards non-typically developing peers, was back at the Boyd Center, and they were here for the first time since the closures. And they were here at their Halloween party, and it was good to see. Those are our current offerings, and besides those, we are looking ahead to continue expanding our recreational programming activities and community involvement, what we're here for. And our future items in the works are a drop-in adult soccer, which actually got finalized today and will begin Monday here on Field 1. Basketball clinics, Thanksgiving week science camps for the kids, cooking classes at the Sarzati Park Snack Bar, which were popular in the past, photography classes, outdoor nature programming, and lastly, creating a plan to increase the recreation department's presence at the skate park. That's the end of my report. I just wanted to say thank you for all of your efforts, and thank you for allowing me to be of service.
Excellent report. Thank you so much for that. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Yeah. That's great. Numbers are great. So exciting.
You mentioned the rec department presence at the skate park. What do you have in mind there?
It's in the initial steps, but my background is from another park district in Thousand Oaks, and I was the specialist there for skateboard programming. and the division. So as of now, Luis and I were discussing creating a recreational programming and community involvement plan. And I'm currently just doing an assessment and giving recommendations to see how we can go forward with. First, probably offering, just simply put, a staff presence and assessing what programming would look like.
Okay.
That's exciting. I hope you'll come back when you get farther along in your process and present to us. I look forward to hearing about that.
Awesome. I will.
And now that skateboarding is a really legitimate activity for even 60-year-olds, it should definitely be part of the programming and not simply have the facility. That's exciting too, to hear that. Yeah.
It is. It's not what it used to be. It's not as counterculture.
Okay, hearing no more comments, we will go on to commissioner reports and comments. Anybody have anything? Well, I would like to take this time to welcome Ella to our commission here, because this is her first evening with us, and to say that we look forward to more of your participation. Thank you tonight for your participation, and I hope to soon get back on our agenda, getting back on some of our committee work and getting the youth and teen committee back up and running, because we are looking forward to your experiences and expertise. Would you like to introduce yourself or say anything? Because you didn't really have that opportunity. I know late in the meeting, but we'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I'm Ella. I'm a junior at Nordhoff. I am in both the arts and sports, which is a challenge, but I'm doing it and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm really glad to be here, and I'm excited to get things going and kind of have an impact.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here. I appreciate it. Okay. The only other commission report is I had someone approach me about drop-in basketball, and so I was asking Luis about it, and I just wanted to say that the information that I got from Luis is that currently the county regulations for indoor sports are that, and Luis, correct me if I'm off base, that you currently, anytime you're doing indoor sports, have to wear a mask for the entirety of your participation indoors. So I just wanted to say that I heard that comment. I know there's definitely interest as the time change comes to having some indoor gym time, but it's still a challenging time to do that. So I just wanted to share that. Anyone else? Okay. Then we are on to future agenda items, of which we have a list here, and then we can add to that the Livable fee waiver program. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to bring back a final look at the sports courts with all the details and just confirm funding and all of that. So that's back on the agenda, future agenda items. We're going to bring back our presentation to review again at the December meeting. Mm-hmm. Were there any other future agenda items that I've missed that the commissioners would like to see? Okay, hearing none. Luis, any other information from us, or you've got everything you need?
I have everything that I need. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So on that note, I will adjourn our November 4th meeting at 7:18. Thank you all for joining and being here. Appreciate all of your time and efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Ojai.
Good night. Bye.